Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Scott Maxwell, the Executive Director of Wounded Warriors Canada, proudly announcing this partnership with Toronto Paramedic Services and QP Locals 416 and 79. Thank you all for coming. This is a milestone moment for us, as it is, I understand, for Toronto Paramedic Services. We started coming out as an organization, coming out of our time in Afghanistan as a nation. 2013, obviously the inception of Wounded Warriors Canada. A difficult period of time for our country and its history, responding to a lot of calls from ill and injured members of the Canadian Forces who had made it home, but as we now know, had not made it all the way home. That led to the creation of the organization and a mission to find, identify, fill gaps in care around mental health. To the point where in 2016, we started to expand to include first responders. A moment in our history that we'll look back on with pride and reflection, as all of you have brought so much to this organization and our future growth. Mental health, when we added first responders into our service delivery, they were coming to our group counseling programs that support individuals, couples, spouses, surviving spouses, and kids, looking for the same type of care, the downstream effects of injuries like PTSD and other forms of operational stress injuries that we all now are very much well aware of. When first responders started accessing a lot of these services, though, they were saying, my goodness, I wish I had known about this a lot earlier in my career. And of course, we weren't really sure what they were necessarily meaning, which of course we now know everyone was looking for and continues to look for trauma-informed ways to take care of all of you and those that serve our communities each and every day. One of the things that we talked about, however, is when you're working with the Canadian Forces, when you're working with Veterans Affairs Canada, there's two departments serving the entire nation. That's obviously not the case when you look at the first responder community and the sector as a whole. Municipal services, regional services, provincial services, national services, and we thought, how are we going to ensure that the programs that are so sought by first responders and their families, they actually become aware of? As we know, education, information leads to impact and outcomes that we see every day. So the genesis of why I'm standing in front of you today was around that effort to ensure that we're formally partnered with services, associations, locals, all across the country, so that the relationship we have with all of you is formal, acknowledged, through and through across the whole of the organization. In other words, not ad hoc, not preferential access to anyone or anything, but a formal working relationship that ensures the people that need help receive help. That is what we're announcing here today, very proudly. We know and continue to hear that's where the need rests and lies, which it is. And now from here on in, we'll embed ourselves with your wellness team, your PRT team, your families and colleagues, to ensure that when and if a member needs help, we are an additional layer for your staff and all of you to pass, to make that call, to put an end to the thing we continue to see about dead-end referrals, lack of access, lack of timely access to care, and ultimately gaps that this organization was created to fill. We're filling them, and we're filling them today thanks to all of you, your leadership, both on the local side, across the service, and everything that the PRT and all your members do every single day to keep everybody in the City of Toronto safe and well. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to introduce Chief Chawla.
Thanks so much, Scott, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to gather here with our staff, our union partners, the media, and of course, our friends at Wounded Warriors Canada to share in this really important announcement. As the largest municipal ambulance service in Canada, Toronto Paramedic Services' mission is to help protect the quality of life of our community through superior and compassionate paramedic healthcare. Our dedicated staff respond to over 300,000 emergency medical calls every year. That's about 10% of the city's population annually. Our paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, and call takers are highly skilled. And every day they face challenges that test their well-being, both mentally and physically. Or they are the first to be called upon when you need them most. These incredible individuals are often the last to ask for help. As Scott has so poignantly mentioned, there is no one mental health program or organization that can do it all. Ensuring there are layers of tailored mental health programs and resources is critical to ensuring that our staff are able to access the help they need and when they need it. That's why we are so very proud to be partnering with Wounded Warriors Canada on this, as Scott mentioned, this formal partnership, strengthening our vital supports for those who care for our residents every day at the most critical times. I also want to take this brief moment to remind anyone out there that is struggling. Remember, you are not alone. Help is available, and I encourage you to reach out to your peers, your leadership, or any one of the resources that are available to you. On behalf of all Toronto Paramedic Services staff, I want to thank Scott and Richard for your incredible partnership in Wounded Warriors Canada, for such a valued partnership, and the crucial support this will provide for the well-being of Toronto Paramedic Services staff and their families. Thank you all for being here today.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you all being here today with us. Would ask you to please come forward and join us for a few photos. We'd like to invite all of our staff and our union partners to come forward for some photos, and then afterwards we'll have a few refreshments. So thank you very much, everybody.